All right, here we are. We have a game. We are loaded in. Show the commanders. Ooh, Aurelia. Ooh, ew, gross. Only I'm supposed to be playing Sissay. We're playing Sissay Weatherlight Captain today. And this is the Ride of the Valkyries Legendary Ladies Tribal deck. We got some mana. We got a Feast and Famine. Seems good to me. We'll go ahead and keep that. Oh, the Kobold. There we go. Yeah. No, the Kobold looks really cool. The Kobold is probably one of my favorite designs of like something recent that I can think of. It's just fun and ridiculous. I know there's some combo lines with it with like Cloudstone Curio and Dockside Extortionist, stuff like that. But I don't know. I just looked at that card and it just made me happy. I'm like, this is kind of ridiculous. I love it. So, yeah, the Kobold looks sweet. Excited for that one. Haven't seen the Cascade Commander yet. I don't think anyway. Maybe I did. A lot of things coming out, and tough to keep track of all of them. Brings it to our turn one. There's a Canopy Vista. Let's see, what do we need to be doing right here? Nothing crazy yet. Yeah, let's just play the Canopy Vista. Everything else comes in untapped, so we'll get that going. And we'll pass like that. Opponents today, we are facing off against a Sisay Weatherlight Captain. I have a feeling that this might be Shrines, based on something they said in chat before the game. Next up, we've got Vermonster piloting Aurelia, the War Leader. This should be terrible. This is a Patreon of mine, and if you watch my channel, you will have a really well-informed Aurelia the War Leader deck list, which can melt your life total. And then finally, we've got Storm Was a Mistake piloting Phylath World Sculptor. This thing does get out of hand a little bit quickly. Landfall cards are usually pretty good, and this one's no exception, so it's going to spit out a lot of tokens and put a lot of power onto the board quickly. We will want to find our way into some removal as soon as we can. Here's a Stoneforge Mystic. I'm sure I'm not going to like this. Anyway, if we can, we're going to try to use Stormherd. That's the goal of this deck, so that we can have our Ride of the Valkyries. And we'll see how that goes. It's not the easiest thing to do. It takes a lot of mana, but luckily we've got some extra mana in our hand to potentially help that out. What up, John? Brings it to our turn. What are we on? 2. Turn 2. Draw into a Shalai. A little bit slow, but I guess it is what it is. What are we doing? Temple Garden tapped? Temple Garden tapped. All the green-white mana. Pass the turn. What'd they go for with the Stoneforge Mystic? Sword of the Animist. It doesn't kill you early, but it'll kill you in the late game when it's like turn 8 and they have like 12 lands. It's never a good place to be. Yep, it's a Shrines deck. Sanctum of Shattered Heights. Discard a land. X damage to target creature or planeswalker where X is the number of shrines you control. Yep, seems pretty good. Getting the shrine party started. He was saying before the game that running shrines is basically just being archenemy all the time on Magic Online. Kind of sucks. I know they're a little annoying, but like, it's not the craziest deck ever. I don't know that it's automatic archenemy status. There's a Soul Ring into the Sword of the Animist that will speed them up a turn. That's actually going to give them a lot of mana. Swings over to opponent, going to get that land. Yeah, that's a little... the Soul Ring. Yeah. Things are going to escalate pretty quickly in this game now. Not loving that. Basalt Monolith. So what, on their turn 4, if they have a land drop, they'll have, what, 7 mana? It's pretty good. We draw another land, kind of slow. We're on the slow plan today. Play the Mountain. Actually, maybe we'll start getting some multicolor lands into play. Yeah, let's do that. Play the Scalding Tarn and crack the Scalding Tarn. Thinking like red-black or something. Do we have a Badlands? Apparently we don't have a Badlands. We have an Underground Sea, though. That seems like a good step. Then we'll cast our commander. Jeweled Lotus, fair and balanced magic. Am I right? Definitely not speeding up the format. Oh, Jeweled Lotus. It's a complicated card. Let me blow my nose real quick. Sorry about that. Apparently I am very stuffy. Definitely not making turn 1 to ready. Yeah, no, it does make turn 1 to ready possible. I do think that the scariest element is Planeswalkers coming into play on turn 1 or turn 2, because Planeswalkers are much harder to remove. As far as speeding up the format, it's not going to speed it up the same way that like Mana Crypt does, because even a turn 6 Mana Crypt still gets you to like 10 mana a lot faster. Obviously turn 1 Mana Crypt is also insane, but it's not going to have that type of effect. So like it's less impactful than Mana Crypt, I think, but I still think you're going to lose to it sometimes. Like sometimes they're just going to have it in their opener and you're not going to have any removal and it's going to suck. But it's not going to do that consistently. Now, if everyone at the table has one, if there's 4 of them, then, you know, percentages go up quite a bit. What is a little bit scary is if you're thinking about like a CDH meta where all 4 decks have Soul Ring, Mana Crypt, and Jeweled Lotus, then the percent chance of someone having one is pretty high. But in like when you're looking at a single deck, if it's just like, oh, I have this in my deck, I don't know what my opponents are playing, then it's tricky. Yes, it will speed things up sometimes, and it will be annoying, but it's not going to speed it up in the same way that like Mana Crypt does all the time. Or like Gaia's Cradle. Gaia's Cradle's an insane card. It's less good than all of those things, but it's still fast mana. It's just really narrow fast mana, so I don't know. I don't think it's going to get used in every deck, even aside from the cost. Like on Magic Online, if it's not terribly expensive, then most people will probably have one, and that's actually probably the best way to really get a feel on it. We'll see what happens after it comes out. I don't think it's insta-ban. I'd like to see it in play for a little while and see if it's actually as bad as people think, but it's complicated. Fast mana is always complicated because it never exists in a vacuum, so yeah. What can we do this turn? We can play a Saskia this turn if we want. We can play a Shalai this turn if we want. I don't know that I'm looking to be like hyper aggressive in this moment. Saskia is the more aggressive play. I don't have someone that I like really feel like we need to. Yeah, I think we go for the Shalai play and just go for the like slower, more protected route right here. Play the Volcanic Island. I guess Saskia gets us 4 colors, and that's kind of a thing. That is something to think about. That probably gets a shot, though. I think I'm going to go on the slower conservative line here. This isn't a deck that like necessarily needs to tutor everything out with Sissay. It can if it wants to, but play it more chill and safer in this moment. Give a little boop over to Kithron. All right, we got a lot of chat happening while I was going through that whole spiel. You guys like my soliloquy? Can't even say it. EDH is silly, but everyone has fast mana, so like it evens the playing field. Also, everyone has cheap interactions, so like I'm fine with it in that setting. It's not really going to impact too much, other than you now have a new piece available. Scott saying, technically turn 1 or 2, 5 and 6 drop commanders available. Yeah, some of that's scary. I do think the scariest commanders are the ones that can draw cards, because once you use that card, you probably need to refill afterwards, but yeah. Oh boy, here we go. Sanctum of All. At the beginning of your upkeep, may search for a shrine, put it onto the battlefield, shuffle if you do. If another shrine you control triggers while you control 6 or more shrines, trigger it a second time. That's a little scary. I was hoping to have a little bit of time before all that happened. Here comes the War Leader. Yep, it's going to be a lot of mana into play. That's hard to stop. Paul says it makes for more non-games. Yes, it will do that. I don't know at what rate it will do that. If everyone's playing them, then, you know, it might balance itself out more. If one person's playing it, oh, that's an Umezawa's Jitte. Oh, that's so bad. Umezawa's so bad. This is going to be a non-game, I think, unless someone wants to play some removal. But 4 counters on Jitte kills a lot of things. Let's take a peek at our deck list. How can we deal with this? We've got a Vraska that we could theoretically get at some point. There's a couple board wipes. It's not a crazy board wipe deck. There's an Ahiri. No, that won't ever be tapped. Gross. There's a Wanderer. We could exile something. Deck needs more removal, is what this deck needs. All the counters on Aurelia, and awesome. Brother says, I might just make Grand Arbiter and full stacks power it out on turn 1. That sounds gross. I mean, if that happens, you just scoop the game, right? Like, there's no reason to play past the turn 1 Grand Arbiter because you'll just be... Everyone else will be so slow at the table that game is not worth playing. Liam says, just got a mana crypt out of Mystery Booster this week. Paper deck will be happy? Yeah. Mana Crypt is one of the most impactful cards you can put in a deck. Like, it just changes how a deck operates. Sure, you don't get it every game, but the games you do, it just does so much. Like, you get a really good feeling for that on Magic Online where everyone has one, and it's just... Yeah, Mana Crypt's a crazy card. Opponent casts their commander and makes 10 tokens. Uses the Lithoform engine, I think, to do it. It's pretty scary. A lot of scary stuff. Not so much removal happening in this moment. We can sort of Feast and Famine something. Doesn't seem awful. Yeah, this is Soul Ring might get us here. We'll see. This is what a lot of ramp does, by the way. They're on what, 10 lands? Almost. Maybe. Is that 7? Yeah, I think they're on 10 lands. It's turn 5. Oy. Oh, I have an idea. That's a pretty funny idea, actually. Okay, here's my plan. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to try it. Aurelia's going to get 4 more counters on Aurelia. I don't know if I like that. Definitely don't like that. Yeah, okay, let's play the Mountain. Play the Feast and Famine. Equip the Feast and Famine. Swing over to Storm. We're going to leave back Shalai. We're going to get an untap right here. Oh, we're 1 power short on Sisay. Actually 2. Maybe we're 2 power short. That would help, but then we run out of mana. My goal is to in Bolas' clutches. That's what I'm trying to do here. What can we get at instant speed that would be like helpful to our situation? We have 5 powers. It's got to be a 4-drop or less. Nothing that's really jumping out at me in this moment. Oh, we get a Blackblade Reforged. Won't equip at instant speed, though. Yeah, okay. I think we just pass like this and tutor something out when it makes sense. Sanctum trigger for opponent. All right, back to chat. See where I left off. Jazzbot says, we're definitely at the point where cards that used to be busted just aren't even talked about anymore because of the things Wizards are printing. Yeah, the cards they're printing now are so much stronger than, you know, things that were problems 5 years ago. Scott says, Gavin already said it's not going to be insta-banned. They wanted to watch it before they do anything, and that's totally fine. I'm fine with... You should give it 6 months. I don't think there's a reason to really insta-ban a card. Like, you should at least see it for a little while. And then once you have some data on it, you're like, okay, this card is actually a problem, or it's a little bit annoying, but it's fine. You know, those are probably the outcomes that you end up with. I'd rather have that data than never have that data, never have the chance to play with it, personally. Remember when Ramos was the thing to bust? Yeah, Ramos is still a pretty good deck. Haven't seen it recently, but, you know, I've lost to plenty of Ramos decks. Brother says, it won't be as bad as people think, but it doesn't need to be a part of EDH to begin with. Stupid design that no one asked for. Yeah, it's just not a thing that I wanted to see. That's a moat. Who plays moat? I guess he plays moat, but there's still an Umezawa's Jitte over there, and he could just pump Aurelia and, like, kill him if he wanted to. There's a Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Gavin said, quote, we have to stay quiet for a while, or else WotC takes over, right? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that statement. Bit disappointed on the rules committee. It's not the rules committee to ban cards at the onset, before they're released, right? You know, if it's in play for a while, sure. You see that it's a problem, then ban the card. But it's not on the rules committee to, like, police WotC. They are, quote, strategic partners, unquote, using Sheldon's words. Ramos leads your mutate deck? Yeah, that could be pretty cool. Ramos makes a lot of mana. It's pretty good. Turn 1 Golos? Yeah. You still need to blink it, though, right? Because either you can get the helm and you can't equip it, or you can get hammer and then you have to, like, blink it, which is not the easiest. So, you know, as good as that is, still probably going to take a minute to assemble the helm. And, like, it's an artifact. It's a creature. They will get shot. Oh, Golos. Sorry, not Godo. Turn 1 Golos is actually scary because Golos finds a land. That land can be like an ancient tomb or something, and that all seems bad. What just happened? Oh. Did opponent just... I'm going to check the game log here. I just missed something big. Oh, opponent activated this ability to shoot Aurelia. How about that? Problem solved. Love it. What I don't love, one of the things I was thinking about was using Imbolus as clutches on Aurelia to attack a lot and potentially do it with this Saskia, Would have been cool, but not to be. Although they can just recast Aurelia right here, can't they? I will say one of my buddies, Dave, who used to play a lot on the channel, he was playing with some people last night and they proxied up Jeweled Lotus. They tested with it and they said it was fine. Now they play it like 9.5, so they're fairly strong decks with a lot of fast mana anyway. But he didn't think it was a problem, so take that for what it's worth. But he does like very spiky decks. Don't let that thing get to 6. Yeah, we should probably start looking at that. I'm thinking about what is it? The red, white, Nahiri. Start shooting some enchantments. Probably going to be a pretty good idea. Opponent going to equip the Animist. Yep. Champ says Lotus will unbalance a lot of things. That's the issue. Yeah, it will lead to bad board states if they have it on turn 1. Like someone's going to be super far ahead and it will be annoying. That's not great. That's not a thing that anyone's looking for. I don't like being on turn 2 and feeling behind. Even more so if I'm last in the turn order. Like it's the absolute worst feeling when that happens. Kithron probably about to die right here. He is representing several problems for us in the moment. Nope, yep, there's the second combat. I should be immune to Aurelia based on principle? Yeah, that would be nice, but I have been run over by Patreon supporters Aurelia decks before, and just kind of reminds me that I've sort of created a monster. I'm like, oh hey, getting hit with this deck feels terrible. You can kill the first player really quickly. This is going to be a turn 6 kill on Kithron. Not exactly where you want to be when you draw the game up. Down they go. More counters on the Jitte. How many Jitte counters do they have? That is a question. 5. Ooh, that's a lot. That is a lot. All right, they're going to start shooting this Phylath. Down for that. Slowly shooting it down. I do love the fact that they're using all their counters here, because the scariest thing you can do is just leave a bunch of counters on Jitte, and it's like, I don't know what he's going to shoot. He can shoot anything he wants. But yeah, now that that resource is gone, gives us a little bit of wiggle room. Try and get some things done. This is indeed my Ride of the Valkyries Legendary Ladies deck. I don't know, this game might end up being like pretty savage though. If Imbolus' Clutches works on Aurelia, I can't imagine that the game will go too much longer after that. Well, there's a chain reaction, so that's going to change. Oh my god, are we going to do this? We're going to do this. You guys ready? I am so excited about this. This is the moment. This is the moment. We're going to activate this Sisay. And then we're going to play this Wanderer. Prevent all non-combat damage that would be dealt to you and other permanents you control. Love it. Impulse's Clutch is out the window, though. All the creatures are, in fact, gone. But that was a sweet play. That just made me super happy, because I've been wanting to use the Wanderer, and it's, I don't know. It's like that 101st card all the time, just never quite makes it. Jazz says the way they see it, have the best brand new auto-include for almost every single EDH deck. I don't know if every deck wants it, and especially at its current price point. Like, if you're talking to me about spending like $100 or more on a card, Mana Crypt first, because Mana Crypt is insane. It's burst mana, like it's more like a Dark Ritual or a Mana Vault than it is anything else. And those cards are fine. They're good. Mana Vault is good. There are decks I don't run Dark Ritual. I mean, you certainly can, but it's, it's burst mana. It doesn't give you consistent mana. Like, I like Feast and Famine way better than I like the Jeweled things, so. Brings back to our turn. We draw a land. Let's play the land. Crack the land. Tundra? No, we need Tundra seems fine. Let's get a Tundra. What are we doing? We could search something out of the deck. We could play a Saskia. Let's play a Saskia. That seems like a nice power move right here. Black. White. Green. We'll choose Aurelia since they have a ton of mana and are super threatening. We'll play this Oath of Nissa. See if we find anything cool. Land Samut. Samut is cool. Let's grab Samut. These at the bottom. Our stuff is huge. Go to combat. Everything to Aurelia, opponent. They gonna feel this. Three Saskia triggers, Feast and Famine trigger. Lands on tap. Opponent taking damage. Boom. Opponent goes down to 12. Did we just do 28 damage in one spot? Were they at 40? It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Past turn like that, let's leave our lands open. Scott says he's more worried about the card that steals searches. Yeah, Opposition Agent. That will change the CEDH landscape, I think. I'm not sure that you want to be in 4-color partners if every time you crack a fetch, it's likely to get stolen. Because there will be 4 of those. You will see 4 of those at the table. If every player has black in their deck, they will have that card. It's just too powerful not to. So, yeah. Equips up the sword and the Umezawas onto the Aurelia. Yep, it's all scary. Our way at the Wanderer, maybe? No, gonna go over to Phylath. Bring Weed Killer, yeah. No kidding. Sword of the Animus trigger. Where's an Hour of Rev when you need one? Yeah. Yeah. Any artifact removal, really, would be step in the right direction. Avacyn will clean up the plants if Sissay dies. That is a great point. Right now we've still got Shalai to get in the way and keep our things alive, which I like. Am I on a 2 to 3 minute delay? No, it's just taking me a while to get to the chat because I'm also trying to focus on the game here too. We're getting there. Slowly working through everyone. Flip Avacyn as a commander is interesting if it wasn't so expensive. Yeah, it's very playable at 5. 5 with Flash is very good. It's not necessarily the best commander you could play. I did a whole ranking. Let me see where I put it. I ranked all the Boros commanders recently, which will be a video at some point. Let me see if I can find my script. I think I had it as an A tier commander. I put it as a B tier commander. It's still pretty good. Like, it does a lot of things. It's not necessarily like... It's not Aurelia, and it's not Winota, but it still does a lot of good things. Team Indestructible and that ability to flip over and kill a bunch of stuff is all really cool. Also, the Wanderer protects our stuff, which I like. Vastwood Surge. Kicker. Search for lands, battlefield. If it was kicked, put counters on your creatures. The Wanderer does get rid of Aurelia at this moment. That is a great point. You want it also gets rid of Aurelia? Imbol's clutches. We'll put counters on the Umazawas, though, and that actually is a little bit scary, but I think if we steal Aurelia, then that's probably the game. Activate the old Sisay. Blue, black, green, and a white. Could also do some fun. Ooh, we could do fun times with Winota. Where's that Imbol's clutch? Imbol's clutches. Click the aura, attach it to this Aurelia. We have an Aurelia. Now it's GG, because that's a Gisela. Play this Wooded Foothills. Crack this Wooded Foothills. Let's get a Taiga. Play the old Gisela. And we've assembled a team of legendary ladies. Let's go to combat. There's going to be so much damage to the Aurelia player. Swing these over there. They will get the Animist and Umazawa's counters, but I don't think that's going to matter. I think they just pump it up. No, man. Negative 32 or negative 29, 32 commander on Storm. Let's see what it does to Aurelia. Negative 24, yeah. Legendary ladies. I'm playing this again. I want to play this again. This was fun. This is not a CEDH game. Boop. All right, let me find some people for the next game. All right, try to catch up on chat while we get people into this game. Yeah, Christopher, we were talking about the new Lotus, which I'm sure we'll be talking about more as I get further down the chat. Scott, you want to play the Ramos Mutate deck versus me? Yeah, we can make that happen sometime. What's your Discord? You have a Discord name somewhere. I'm pretty sure I've talked to you on Discord. If you have, just like message me, and we'll figure it out. Actually, in this moment. Are you an MTGO player? I can't remember. Devlin says, now that's a card. I'm assuming that was for the Wanderer play? I'm not sure. Champ says, set has too many push things. Yeah. Yeah, it does. It does. Saskia does equal 3 more colors in that scenario, in that setting that we were in. Champ says, too many sets have too many push things. Yeah, so it's kind of like when you look at a commander set, the thing that grabs the most attention are the push cards, right? From Commander 15, everyone talks about like Marin and Mizzix, because those cards were crazy at the time. They're still pretty strong now, but like probably right around average for like a normal powerful, a new powerful commander. But yeah. Saskia, lady pointing angrily. Yes, she is. Ten mana as a Boros deck. Yeah, that's what happens when you play Sword of the Animist early. It is really good. Dave would like a Lotus for his Niv Mizzet Perrin deck? Yeah. Yeah, it will help that deck. He said it was good. He didn't say it was crazy. He said it was fine. Teach the viewers how to play Aurelia. Get Aurelia. Yeah, and then they play Aurelia on you, and you're like, oh crap, we're all going to die in 5 turns. This is terrible. Aggro decks. Hooray. Brother says, digging the new Cascade stuff. I've been building Yidris, very fun commander. I'm still salty about this one time that I lost to a Yidris deck where I got a Mana Vault into an early Obnixilis and then ulted the Obnixilis, which is 2 mana per card drawn, I think is what it does. I can't remember now. And anyway, the Yidris Storm player proceeded to draw most of their deck, get to 2 life off of the emblem and the card draws, and then kill the table. And I was pretty annoyed about it. And they also had like a perfect mana base for Yidris, which was, and they were young, so obviously their parents paid for that mana base, but I have feelings about it. Wasn't a great time. Yeah, it's a good hand. Mana Crypt, land, cultivate, all good stuff. You guys are going to get a look at how fast mana works. Ooh, and a Tatiova. All the ramp. Mode is down, non-combat damage. Eric says, yeah, $170 for a card, $170 for 1 card per deck is asking a lot. Yes, it is. I have 2 paper Mana Crypts, and I would buy a Mana Crypt before I buy the Jewel thing anytime. I've got like 12 decks, 15 decks in paper. I've got a few. Play the Windswept Heath. Crack the Windswept Heath. I think we're on the play. This will probably be another quick game. Unless opponents have some early removal, because We're going to get out of hand here. We need green. Tropical Island seems good. Play Mana Crypt. So here's the thing to keep in mind. Jeweled Lotus is not this card. This card is going to let us play this Cultivate right now. And this is like one of the most ridiculous turn ones you can have. The number of turn ones you can have that are more ridiculous than this are very, very few. Let's get a swamp. Make sure we have all colors of mana. We do seem to have a lot of green in hand with a double green, so we'll get a forest, put the forest into play, and we'll pass like that. And then say, I ramped. And people are worried about Jeweled Lotus. Yeah, no, it's Mana Crypt you should be worried about. Ban Mana Crypt and keep Jeweled Lotus, and that will be like a much happier compromise. Kind of discounts it. That messes with EDH a lot, but for casual, that would be nice. Yeah, someone mentioned that Jeweled Lotus doesn't always do the thing. Jeweled Lotus only works on 1 or 2 cards in your deck, that's a big deal. It's a big deal. But what is a big deal is this turn 2 Tatiova we're about to cast. Play the Plateau. Cast this Tatiova. There's Gisela again. We just saw her. Burrow Signet for opponent. Yes, indeed. Boros Signet, or, oh my god, I can't talk. Yes, indeed. I am working on a Boros ranking video. The partners that are coming out are going to screw it up badly. I should have just released it before the partners, because that will take a lot of testing and a lot of sifting to figure out what's what. Eric says, the collective is slated down to just run more removal. Yeah, I mean, there's only so much removal you can run. Like, I don't like the idea of not running enough board wipes to have more instant speed removal. Like, you should have some amount of instant speed removal, but I don't want, like, 8 pieces of instant speed removal. That seems like too many for, like, a casual deck. As you get stronger up the ladder, then that's fine. But we lose a Mana Crypt flip. That is okay. We're going to gain all that life back in a moment. Tatiova is in play. Oh, man, we can put Bear Umbra on Tatiova. Wow. We're going off here. Play the Swamp. We get the Tatiova trigger. Seems good. There's an Urza's Ruinous Blast. I guess we're playing a Feast and Famine. Or do we play the Bear Umbra? We'll save the Bear Umbra. Play the Feast and Famine. 3 mana left. Nothing we can do with it. Oh, we have to equip it anyway. Which one of our opponents is the scariest? Probably this Ramos. Give them the old boop. This is a pretty good turn 3. Blame Mana Crypt. Blame Mana Crypt. Now blame Feast and Famine. Feast and Famine trigger. Opponent discards an Ulamog, and it'll get shuffled. So they have some Eldrazi. I guess we'll play this... Do we have the mana for this? We do. I'm going to play this Marchesa. Seems cool. Could also play Captain Sisay. Yeah, Captain Sisay finds lands. Do we have any legendary lands in the deck? Double check. Hopefully I put one. I put a Manamo. That's a land drop. I like land drops. We're going for Sissay. Play, Sissay. Pass the turn. Back to the chat. Champ confirming Gisela was lethal on both in the last. Yeah, Gisela was a lot of damage. JJCC asks, have I ever used Sissay to tutor for Legendary Land? Once. If I'm going to do that, I will use this Sissay to do it because of the mana involved. If you're tutoring a Legendary Land for 5 mana with the Sissay, things are probably going wrong. But you can do it. I did have a version of the deck that was trying to use Westvale Abbey, which I think the front side of that's Legendary. I forget now. But I had a Westvale Abbey deck that I was messing around with, and you kind of do stuff like that. But this one's definitely better for it because of the no additional mana cost involved. Apparently I have to update the deck list in the description below. I will try to figure out a way to do that here in a moment. The deck today is Saskia. No, not Saskia. We played Saskia last game. The deck today is Sissay Weatherlight Captain, Legendary Ladies, Ride of the Valkyries. Oh, we got a super chat from Marcus. Thank you, Marcus. It's a really good message. Marcus Tempest Aurelius. Thank you very much. More Jewel Lotus stuff. Oh no, they got us with the Volcanic Offering, my favorite card. Volcanic Offering, why do you hurt us so bad? By the way, if you don't like any of the new commanders coming out, because they're all OP or whatever, some of them are, not all of them are, but Volcanic Offering is a great way to get rid of them and the land that they rode in on. They also got our Tropic Island in there. Thankfully, they didn't hit 2 lands. I can appreciate that. That's the way to make it as nasty as humanly possible. So you open up YouTube to see yourself dying to Saskia? Is it on that much of a delay? I could probably check that. Mana Crypt. Flip. Back to our turn, by the way. There's a Glenalendra. A little sad about not making the land drop right there. Ooh, opponent's got a Smothering Tithe? Alright. Opponent's got some stuff. We can get our Commander. We can get this Marchesa. I think Sissay and put a sword on it seems reasonable. Protection from 2 colors seems real nice. A lot of red at the table. May not help the most, but Ramos potentially has black or green removal. No, the delay is only like 10 or 15 seconds. It's not too bad. I'm looking at it right now. Banana says he needs the Jewel Lotus for his Krenko 10th Street Kingpin. Yeah, so where that card also gets crazy is if your commander costs 3. Zurzoth is the other one, which I think I had a segment on it in the video that I put out about Jewel Lotus about an hour ago. But if your commander costs 3 and you're getting it on turn 1, like, that's also ridiculous. Zurzoth is a decent commander, but is not insane. It's insane when you play it on turn 1, because I've seen it off of like Mana Crypt and stuff, and then you're just like, wow, why is this person so far ahead and have so many things in play? It's because they had a turn 1 commander. Rolling Earthquake. The sword not going to help right there. Bring on the board wipes. Back to the command zone. Should auto this. David said, it's Raph guy here. Yeah, Raph's also going to be really good with the Jeweled Lotus. Turn 1 Perforos. Yep. Pleasant Kenobi talked about turn 1 Perforos. He mentioned the other 4 gods. That turn 1 Perforos is actually scary. The other ones are like good, but not game-breakingly good. Perforos is scary in turn 1, because then every creature you cast after that, everyone's losing a bunch of life. I'd imagine you could kill a table in 5 turns with that. And a decent hand. T says if they knew the game was being streamed, I would have mulliganed. I mentioned that we were streaming. Maybe it was further up the chat. Sorry about that. Sisay is fun. Jeremy says, Sissay is such a fun commander. Mine is built as a legendary token deck. That's interesting. I haven't seen that take on it yet, but I like it because you can do a lot of things with it. Obviously, you can be really strong if you want to, but like my Legendary Blades is one of my favorite versions of the deck. And also like this deck. I like this version of the deck too. This one is probably a little bit faster just because it's really proactive. It's just like slam a bunch of stuff, ramp a little bit, and go on the attack, which if your opponents don't have a lot of removal can lead to some not fun situations, but they've slowed us down a bunch now, so they've got a fair chance in this moment. But yeah, it can be really strong, but I do like that there's some amount of setup in using Sissay. It's not like Golos where it's just get lands, play all your big spells. No big deal. Kelton says he's been playing tons of Korvold on MTGO trying to perfect his paper list. It's not CEDH. I don't have a ton of Korvold experience. I haven't played it. I think I played it like once, maybe. I've seen other people play it. There's definitely different takes on it of like how fast you want it to be. I've seen some versions that like the CEDH version where it is all the fast mana. And it's cards like Tinderwall, which I used to use way back in the day, are kind of ridiculous for the deck. But yeah, I mean, I don't think... One of the things to keep in mind is that like the MTGO meta is going to be different than your paper meta. So just bear that in mind that like some different things may need to happen as a result of it. We're on 6 mana now. We can... What can we do? We can play this thing, but no, we have no blue mana. Whoops. That was an oversight. Recast Sissay? Recast Sissay. Oh, we have blue mana. It got shot, is what happened. That's actually like a really big deal. We can only cast green. The only card we can cast in our hand is we can cast Ruinous Blast and Bear Umbra. We need to find mana. Ew. Can't activate Sissay? Gross. Yeah, they got us good when they shot the Tropical Island. Champ saying the Crypt's going to make 10 plus mana this game where the Jeweled Lotus would only make 3 one time. Yeah. Like if I played Jeweled Lotus instead of Crypt, like the fact that they shot our commander means all that value is gone. The fact that Crypt's just hanging out here, doing more stuff for us, it just continues to generate value. Yep. Like I said, if you're spending $100 or more on a piece of ramp, I'm going for Mana Crypt long before I'm going for Jeweled Lotus. Using the Persist combos and Words of Wilding combo, I don't actually know those that well. Obviously, I get how Persist works. Probably pretty good. I don't know the Words of Wilding combo, though. Alex says, really interested in the new Wylith for Boros Voltron. I gotta look that one up. I don't know if I've seen it yet. I may have. It's hard for me to remember all the names now. There's so many cards coming out this year that they all the names blend together. Oh yeah, Wyleth looks awesome. Um, has that one been officially spoiled yet? I don't know much to talk about it. Can you guys confirm? I haven't kept track of like what's been officially spoiled. I'm trying not to step on anyone's toes or steal their thunder, so I'm not seeing it on Mythic Spoiler, so I will assume that that hasn't happened yet. By the way, while you're all here, my preview card comes out on Sunday the 1st, so stay tuned for that. Haven't made the video yet, probably gonna have to do that tomorrow, but I've got a pretty ridiculous idea that I think is going to be fun and quite silly, so tune in sometime in the morning for my preview cards. Blast exiling the artifacts. Do it for science and save yourself the mana crypt. Oh, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe. There's an Iroas coming into play. Yeah, Iroas is pretty good. JJ saying Feast and Famine's so good. Yeah, it really is. Ridiculous magic card. I would buy more Feast and Famines before I buy Jewel Lotus. Can always use like 4 more copies of Feast and Famine. Turtle Issue says, I've been trying out Sir Gwen. No, I'm super late, but she was cheap, and she seems a little slow, honestly. Only played 2 games with her. Both were won by Maelstrom Wanderer. Yeah, there's a couple problems with that. Is that, one, you're facing Maelstrom Wanderer, which is a bad time all the time. And 2, yeah, Sir Gwen is a little bit slow. You do need to ramp pretty hard. I would get yourself to about 13 or 14 pieces of ramp. I would have 1 or 2 cards, maybe 2 to 3 cards. Your land tax, Gift of Estates, Tithe type stuff that's going to dig lands out of your deck. Use Armillary Sphere if you're on a budget. Yeah, Sir Gwen is mana hungry, and that is the thing that you'll have to deal with. You know what this Flooded Strand is? This Flooded Strand is blue mana. This is a big deal. Crack the Flooded Strand. Let's get a Volcanic Island? Volcanic Island seems good. Maybe we needed the white one. We'll work on that. We've got 7 mana to our name. Can't be Gisela. Could go Marchesa Sword. That seems reasonable. I like it. Let's try it. Or we can go Glen Elendra Sword. Only 1 blue, though. Let's try Marchesa Sword. Feeling that. Blue, red. Put the sword on the commander. Pauper shot us with the Volcanic. Pauper's not actually doing that much. Sean's ahead by a lot. How many counters on this thing? 3? Ooh, would he block? We should go for the safe on tap, I think. I'd like to be hitting Sean because of all the mana, but it's just not in the cards right now. Not in the cards. Could have attacked there to get the counter. Probably should have thought about that a little bit more. Oops. But again, the blocking. We hit Feast and Famine on taps. Got a 7/7 Sisay, which means we can get a lot of things out of our deck. Would I steal a Smothering Tithe? I probably would. Any permanent, right? Yep. I'm gonna wait till he tries to wheel or something like that. Because he has so much mana that he would just like pay for ours, and then everyone's going to see it, and that whole thing. That is going to be the 4th counter on Luminarch Ascension, though. Anyway, yeah, back to the Sir Gwyn. Yeah, Sir Gwyn is a bit slow. Hedron Archive, it's not my favorite anymore, but Worn Power Stone, what's the new one? It's like Skyclave Relic or something like that. All that sort of stuff. Any multi-ramp is going to be good. There's a Thran Dynamo, absolutely Thran Dynamo. I wouldn't even say no to a Gilded Lotus in Sir Gwyn. That deck just, it needs mana, it needs colors. Dousing Dagger is going to be reasonable. You can't have enough ramp in that deck, I don't think. Didn't even draw a Lotus? What a gamer. I don't even know what that means. Have I gotten to test out Verazal? No, I don't remember which one Verazal is. We're going to have to go look that one up. Opponent going on the attack. They've got a melee trigger and a Hobo. Man, that's so much mana to pump into Angels. That's kind of scary. Verazal is Simic. Enters battlefield with +1/+1 counter. Whenever you cast a kick spell, you may remove 2 counters. If you do, copy that spell. No, I haven't played any Verazal yet. I haven't played tons and tons of the new stuff. Any of the new stuff that I've played, you guys have probably seen in the form of a video. So, if you haven't seen a video on it, probably hasn't happened yet. Opponent's going to activate the Divining Top. At the end step here, we're going to activate this Sisay. Use Imbolus' Clutches. Grab this Smothering Tithe. And we've got ourselves a Smothering Tithe. Start trying to get some extra mana that way. And now we can F6. Champ says Manamo and the card draw lands are decent targets for the legendary land thing. Sarah Sanctum, Cradle in the right decks. Yeah. You know, the one thing with the colorless lands is that they're a little bit rough with Sisay because you really want the 5 mana color stack, so I went pretty light on that, but definitely could have 1 or 2 more. Sissay is definitely a hate bear. Is she? I don't know. She does a lot of things. She's a tutor on a stick. Pretty ridiculous. Simic Salamander tribal, anyone? No thanks. Simic anything tribal's probably a bad time. Minamo untaps legendary mana dorks too, like Sylvala and Jagantha. Yeah, I saw that in my tap tribal deck the other day. Gauntlet of Might. Yep, double up that red mana. Is that all mountains? All mountains. We have 1 mountain, 2 mountain, 3 mountain. Enax coming into play. We'll get some extra mana. I can appreciate that. Bloodforge Battle Axe is pretty good. Equips the Battle Axe. Puts it onto the Varchild. All right, I've got the correct deck list in the link below. You might need to update the video real quick to look at it, but if you want to check out the deck list for the deck that I'm playing, it is now available. Opponent going to send their Varchild over our way. Yeah, we're just we're taking all the way on that. Bloodforge trigger, Varchild trigger. Oh, Kevin showed up late to the party, asking about the Jeweled Lotus. My thoughts are this. It's probably not going to break Commander. It will be annoying when it shows up on turn 1, but that won't be every game. I don't think it's as good as other Mana Rocks. Like, we've had a turn 1 Mana Crypt in this game, which is way better than Jeweled Lotus. So, if you're going to spend $150 on a Mana Rock, I would get yourself more Mana Crypts. For that same price point, I would also get myself several Feast and Famines. Jeweled Lotus is fine. It will be useful in some situations like CEDH, or if you're in a pretty high power setting where you need fast mana, but I'm not going out of my way to grab a lot of Jeweled Lotuses. I'll try it out and I'll playtest it a bunch once it's actually released, which I think is pretty soon. I think it's the 4th, but I'm not positive on Magic Online. So, I'll playtest it. I'll let you guys know kind of my thoughts on it more once I playtest it, but I don't think it's ban worthy yet. It's a little annoying. Like, I don't love it from a design perspective, but it's not, I don't think they needed to encourage more turn 1 commanders, but a thing that I would have actually liked to see in its place is maybe like a 3 mana rock that comes into play tapped and then makes 3 mana. Something that kind of stays on par with like the Selvalas, Somberwald Sages, that sort of stuff. Like slightly better, or depending on how you look at it, Thran Dynamo kind of thing. Would have preferred that a little bit more because that gets you into like casting big stuff, which I happen to like. But hey, we ended up with a whole bunch of Survivor tokens. Those are fun. Can't block, dethrone, good times. That is how Varchild works. Champ giving me a hard time about the Manamo. Yep. I tried to get the Manamo. People had other plans for us. Worlds of Wilding, Corvald, Fecundity, Ashnod's Altar, Phyrexian Altar, Pitiless Plunder, Sack Outlet, Blood Artist. Sounds like a lot of pieces, but I guess that's probably about typical for like an Aristocrats deck. I'll take your word for it. How about turn 1 Azusa? Puke emoji. That's all that I've got for that. Azusa's a bad time anyway. Turn 1 Azusa is the most bad time. Hey, it's back to our turn. Won the Mana Crypt flip. How about that? I'm at 17. We're at 17. We should be careful. That's an Akroma's Memorial. That's a fun card. How'd we only get 2 tokens? Oh, right. I guess that's how that works. No one wheeled. Sadness. What's in our deck? I feel like I want more cards. We have Narset in our deck. No haste currently, though. We have to get the Akroma's Memorial. Elish Norn is in the deck. Yeah, things are starting... Ooh, things are getting aggressive now. I don't want a Ruinous Blast, because, like, I don't want this game to go insanely... We can play Gisela. That's the thing that we can do. Gisela protects us from a lot of stuff. Gisela Archmage? That's where I'm at. Yeah, okay, let's do that. I imagine that people are low on removal, card counts are low, and I feel like we would have seen the removal already. So let's go for Gisela. There's white, red. Oh yeah, these make double. How about that? That is cool. Do need another white. Actually, we can do this differently. So, white, red. Get Gisela. Want to leave the blue mana up. Use Mana Crypt. Get Gisela into play. Get Glenalendra. And now we'll have a counterspell to protect all of our stuff, which I really like. Unless, of course, they get shot first. Should have sequenced this better. Don't be a route. Nope, they're just going to make 4/4s. Okay. A lot of 4/4s, as a matter of fact. With melee, that's a lot of damage. That is a lot of damage. Cool. We got that into play. Ramos can block. That can block. We may not get to untap. It's actually a little bit scary. Go to combat. Swing that there. Swing. Are we trying to put a counter on this thing? Or are we just leaving it back as a blocker? Those can't block. Gisela blocks. That's a 4/4. Those would trade. It would get a counter on it. They've got the most life. I guess we send it. Dethrone. He blocks the Feast and Famine. Yeah, I mean, he's gotta. Makes me sad. Annex trigger. We are a bit exposed. We could just die. That's a thing that could happen. How do I feel about that? Not great. Not great. Could have sent all those in somewhere, I guess. Maybe we could have played Bear Umbra, maybe. Yeah, maybe we should have... crap. Well, we might pay the price on this. Anyone got a Temp with Discovery? Yeah, Temp with Discovery does ridiculous things, especially on like turn 1, turn 2. Got a turn 2 Gishat. No, not Gishat. The other one, Zakama. Zakama one time because people took the Tempt. Someone says, turn 1, Malaran the Marsong off of Jewel Lotus, then Dark Ritual into Opposition Agent. Malaron's 3, right? Marilyn. I said that wrong. Yeah. I mean, you could just do that with the Dark Ritual anyway. And or Mana Crypt, I think. Is it 2 black mana? Maybe not. Turn 1 Krenko? Yeah, turn 1 Krenko's crazy. That game will be over quickly. Kevin asks, have I played any companions on the channel? I haven't played any since they changed the companion rule. I played a couple before it, but I don't know. The change of the companion rule makes them pretty unappetizing to play, so I'd rather just slot them into the 99 of the deck and not worry about the deck building restrictions at this point. So there's 2 ways to go about this. He can try to take us out, or he can try taking everyone else out because he's got double damage on everyone else. He's trying to take us out. It's a fine plan. Oh, these are going to be huge. There's a bunch of melee triggers. Thunder says, oh my god, I'm hearing the voice behind the videos for the first time on stream. Wow. Yes, my voice is wearing down now because I didn't bring enough water. Whoops. Welcome. They are 7/7s. 7 gets rounded down to 3 off of Gisela. We can obviously block one with Gisela, which is good. Probably block one with the Glenalendra, too. That 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 looks like coming at us, so that'd be 15. This will block 1. I think I'm going to block 1 with the other one here, just soak up a little more damage. One goes down. First strike. Persist happens. We survive at 8. All right. But Pauper playing red. Pauper really good at playing red. They are like a red specialist, so I wouldn't be surprised if they find something real nasty that just finishes us off. A lot of things we can die to at this point. Opponent gonna make more angels. Yep. Rolling with the Luminarch Ascension. Funny story, most of the times I've ever played Luminarch Ascension, it gets me killed, because people don't want this to happen. So I'm rarely ever able to do this, but Smothering Tithe, also a really good card. Turtle says, I'm surprised Sir Gwyn's horse hasn't collapsed from how clunky she gets from eating all the mana. Yeah, you know, 1 removal spell on Sir Gwyn, you're talking 8 mana. That is a lot. Sir Gwyn, Kenrith, and Sissay are 3 decks that don't know the meaning of too much mana. Yeah, I feel that. Champ giving some advice there, and we are caught up on chat. How about that? Yeah, we did it. We did it. Skull Clamp for opponent. Little Nambo right there. Can't sack the guys to draw because of the Gauntlet of Might, but it wouldn't stop you from running Gauntlet of Might. It's too good not to. Puts it on their commander. Equips the Bloodforged Battle Axe. Don't be our way. Nope, going into Sean. This almost looks like a Blasphemous Act play, though. Those 2 can't block, I guess. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. We have some survivability off of a Blasphemous Act. I'd probably let it resolve, though. We would get Marchesa and Sisay back, lose all this stuff. Prefer to keep Gwyn around, but... Not Gwyn, Gisela, rather. Opponent hits, gets a Bloodforge trigger, something dies. Skull Clamp's going to draw some cards, get some satyrs. Hey, we get some mana with Smothering Tithe. Excellent. If we win something like Saskia with this Akroma's Memorial, we lost all the tokens, I guess, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. Yeah, melee on Adriana is really good. Adriana is born to do damage. I know she gets a bad rap because it's a Boros thing that like all it does is attack, but it's actually really good at what it does. Throw an extra combat on there, and then you're talking like up to +6/+6, but even +4/+4 is good enough a lot of the time. Sissay survives Blasphemous Act because it rounds down. Yes. Yes, it would. Yes, it would. Gisela just needs a counter. Then Gisela would survive Blasphemous Act. Who's on the throne? Varian is on the throne. Haven't talked about it yet, but I am pretty excited about a lot of the red cards in the new set. They all look really, really good. A lot of cool stuff. I like the one that makes mana. Almost looks like Neheb number 2. There's the Goblin Pirate thing that's kind of interesting. Looks like another Grenzo. There's the Kobold we talked about early on. A lot of cool red stuff in this set. Pretty excited about it. Here comes a Nethroi. Nethroi's good. Mutated onto Ramos makes it even better. Gonna get back the Dirge Bat. Not ideal. Oh, wait, it just comes into play. It doesn't mutate, right? Okay, that's okay. Oh, we have 5 mana. We can do Sissay stuff. Yeah. So Saskia is certainly a contender. Opponents are mostly tapped out. Let's activate Sissay. See what we can get. Little lifelink wouldn't be awful. I think we have a whip in the deck. Winota, how many non-humans do we have? That's a human, that's a human. Those 2 non-humans. Saskia certainly looks good. Selvala, the Wanderer, Sidisi. Ooh, Sidisi for the thing. We don't have... No, we're just not going to have the mana to do that, which is unfortunate. Elspeth, Elishnorn. Elishnorn is a pretty serious card. Avacyn, Aurelia. Aurelia is one of my favorites. Oh, we go like Adriana, Aurelia, Saskia. We don't probably have that many activations, though. Let's do it. Get Aurelia. See how many of these we can get. Elishnorn is a pretty good answer. We might try to get that at some point. I expect to be able to untap my lands. This, might be it. Opponents are pretty low on mana. Low on cards. Not too much interaction, hopefully. Tails. Lost the flip. This is going to be the final push. This is going to be the big final push. There's a Bloom Tender. How much mana do we have? We have 4, 5, 6, 7 exactly. This would give flying and trample, which is a big deal. That untaps stuff. Yeah, I think Akroma's Memorial is where we are. Oh, overtapped. Oh, crap, and I did it in the worst way, too. Whoops. Forgot about that. Go to combat. I think opponent's doing the oh crap. That one's already... Sissay's already got a counter on it, so I guess we send that right here. Send... Pro Red, huh? Haste, First Strike, Trample. Double the damage. Guess send that in right there. Start working on some of these angels. That one's actually kind of weak, and then we'll send this one over here, I guess. Send them. Dethrone. Yeah, it's not looking good for Pauper. Gonna dual caster mage, get themselves a blocker, but it is red, and that does not help. This is live. We are live. Our opponents are about to be not alive. Oh, they're gonna triple block on Gisela? I should have thought about that a little bit better. No, maybe not. That math probably still doesn't work. Because of the 4 becomes 2. And Gisela has first strike. Yeah, that math still doesn't work for them. Derek says I was streaming you and playing League. Yep. Nice. Haven't played League in a long time. When I did, I used to Hecarim was my main. Mostly I just didn't play any other characters. I only played Hecarim. I was not the best. I'm decent at Heroes of the Storm, but League was always a bit harder for me. We got some trample damage coming in. Assign the damage. Pauper goes down. Feast and Famine will trigger. I don't know that we need to mess around. Ooh, we got a bunch of tokens. Tokens are cool. I don't think we need to mess around with activations in this moment. I think we can just attack. Back to combat. Make sure we spread these out in the best manner possible. That's a 7/7. 7/7's kind of scary. Send a few of these over here. Send that over there. And if the math isn't looking good, then we can drop in an Elish Norn or something like that. Oh, dethrone triggers. Nice. That one can't block. That's a 7/7, though. Yeah, that should be plenty. This should do it. Alex says, consider playing MTGO, but don't want to spend the money on the cards again. Yeah, it is annoying, but they are way cheaper also. So in general, I think my fully loaded Aurelia deck is like 200 tickets on Magic Online, which is about $200. And in paper, it's like 700 or 800. So, you know, that's the range that we're talking about. But that also includes the fetch lands. If you pull the fetch lands out, then, you know, subtract $50 from that. And, you know, $100 on Magic Online will go really far. And you can build a lot of decks with that. So, but I get it. It is more money. And money is expensive. So, anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you guys for joining. If you like what I do, be sure to subscribe. You can check out my Twitter as well. Stay in line with updates. If you want to get my thoughts on like all the cards coming out, that's a good place to do it as well. Patreon, if you want to help support that way, is always a good idea also. But yeah, so I'll be back next Friday with more streaming, and we may have Commander Legends by then. I forget the Magic Online release date, but I think it's very soon. So anyway, have a good night, everyone. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you next week.